Welcome back to Trust the Process, the podcast. My name is Dalton Smith, and today we are in Glendale, Arizona, far from home, and I have a very special guest that 9 out of 10 days is right with me on everything that I do. JD Harding, the legend.
Howdy. How's it
which
going?
you kind of have become like a little micro legend.
Dude, it's been so interesting just to watch the past 4 years. I went from the kid that was asleep on your story on Instagram every day to like the kid that no one knows. It's like still that kid sleeping on your floor at the office. No.
You have, though, and that's funny because my father got to see JD at the house a lot when he was younger. I know it sounds weird, but a couple years ago, he's like, that kid JD, dude, he's always napping. Does he actually work? And I was like, no, he's napping because he's grinding so hard. So super excited to have you, bro. Give me some love.
Thanks for having me, bro.
This is big. I was going to say welcome to Arizona, but because it's, vice versa.
Yeah, I should be welcoming you to Arizona because you missed us on the first round.
Yeah, if you guys notice, I'm wearing my top rank ESPN shirt because we are here working as camera operators for ESPN. Your second time out here in Glendale.
Yep.
And you have gone to, 8 states and countless fights just for ESPN in the last year.
Absolutely. It's been literally almost a year next month.
Yeah, next month will be a year, which is really wild. And that's just 1 year.
Yeah.
You've been here for 4 years. So, as usual, my best friend ChatGPT wrote a beautiful script with questions that I actually don't even know yet. But before we get started, JD, just tell the people your name, and a little bit of lead up to you meeting me and the NPI crew.
Word. So hi, I'm JD. I'm a filmmaker / manager / a lot of things here at NPI Productions. But about 4 years ago, I met this man. But 6 years ago, when I was in high school, I had done an internship, and the guy behind me at the internship was like, yo, you got to get out of here. You should go work for one of these 2 companies. I went to high school with them. And I don't even remember the name of the first company because this man's website was so sick. And I was like, I'm going to work for that guy someday. So fast forward 2 years, I meet Corey Howell. And in the same day, he takes me to meet Dalton in his living room.
Yeah.
And it was like the most awkward exchange because it was like, I don't know this man.
He just brought you in my house.
Yeah, he's just like...
Shout out Corey Howell. I love you, bro.
He's like, who's this kid?
So, COVID.
Yeah.
It was 2020, and JD's entire world really was weird. All of it was, but your post-high school years are supposed to be, all this exciting stuff, and you got literally locked down.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're out at the beach, Hightower, Emily Zeck's down there, a bunch of people skimboarding, hanging out. It's a beautiful day. Ironically, during COVID in Central Florida, it was the most beautiful stretch of weather for months. So, yeah, Corey's like, yeah, I'm coming over, bro. And I want to say he told me, like, yeah, I met this kid, but literally I'm brushing my teeth and I can hear some voice that I do not know. And I had like a balcony in my townhouse. And I looked down. And Corey's like, yeah, bro, dude, I got this guy. I brought him. Here he is. He's in your house. I'm like, okay.
It was such a weird thing because, like, I didn't even know what to say. Like, I was just like, oh, hey, you're the guy, And Corey's just like, oh, yeah, this kid films. After, like, doesn't even introduce me yet. He's talking to you as if, like, I'm not even in the room. And he's
just
like,
another day.
Oh, yeah, this is that kid. He does film. And so we go out on your porch, and, like, you're like, it was like, show me what you got. Like, show me some of your stuff.
Over the last 4 years, JD has become an absolutely pivotal part of this team. And it's been cool to see, dude. It was a journey. And I've actually got a bunch of questions in here. They're going to kind of help us jump through all the different things we've done together.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The beginning of JD's journey. Let's see. How did your path lead you here straight out of high school? So, as we were saying, Corey being Corey is just like, yo, Dalton needs, talented people. I'm going to bring this kid to his house. And you're over, and I basically say, you know what? Let me see what you're about. Yeah. Take these watches and go shoot some content. And they were prototypes from Freestyle watches, and they were extremely valuable because they were one of one. They may be $40 to $60, but those were like $3,000 because they were the prototype. So I throw you like 3 or 4 watches,
Yep.
and you and Gavin
Yeah.
killed it. Because the thing about JD is he came with a +1.
Who was supposed to meet Dalton the day before I met Dalton, which is really wild.
It's a complex story, but
Yeah.
a client's friend had a son named Gavin Brooks, and they tried to line us up. I got sick. I couldn't make it. Sent Tristan Larrivee, kind of left Gavin bummed because he wanted to meet me. The next day or 2 days later, we end up meeting down at the beach.
Yep.
So first interaction with you guys is in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
I just lost all my contracts. I'm in this turtle phase where I'm like really scared, but somewhat enjoying this downtime. You see how busy we are.
Oh, yeah. Especially now.
It's been busy forever.
Oh, yeah.
And COVID was this like pause, but money was a problem.
Yeah.
So everyone on the team that I had been working with frequently, I was like, look, I love you guys, but you need to kind of like take care of yourself for a bit because I don't know what the future holds. So when I meet you guys, I saw this opportunity where you had, I don't want to say nothing going on, but you're out of high school in COVID.
Yeah.
You were stuck.
Yeah. And I was working a job that I did not really have a whole lot of fun at.
Yeah.
A couple of jobs, actually, when I met Dalton.
And so did Gavin.
Yep.
So it was a great opportunity
Yeah.
to just dive in. So I said, what do you guys think about working for me part-time? And I'll throw you a couple $100 a month. And I won't really expect much of you. Just come through. Let's film. Let's make a couple edits. I'll teach you the ropes. And we'll go from there. And that really was how it started.
Yeah.
And since then, there has been just evolution, but there was problems and hurdles.
Many hurdles.
The growing pains were tough for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Going from a high school kid to like literally a very complex, highly demanding job. What was that like?
It was one of those things where like you're like, this is the dream, I'm ready for it, but you didn't realize there was so much more you needed to grow. Like as a person, there was so much more I needed to grow on, especially with like organizational skills and like just time management. There were just so many things that I needed to master that like I ended up learning the hard way, if you will.
Yeah. It sucked trying to push you guys through it because at your age, I was not being held to the standard that I was holding you to. And I knew that, but you guys were better than me. Like, that's why you are part of my team. So especially when you guys proved to me you had it. Like, I saw your hustle. I saw you get through just gnarly days, no sleep, making quality content. You, like, showed me what you could do. So whenever you slipped, I got pretty pissed. Yeah. And I rode you guys hard. But it was because I was really afraid of you guys losing focus on the talent that you had. And I'm not going to lie, man. We are a hardworking team that kind of does things different.
Yeah.
And you guys definitely adapted and had to adapt just to, thrive here.
Yeah, it was super difficult because you took a chance on us in a really difficult time, and I was also an essential worker, so it was really hard to try to balance like the job that I had to have versus the job that I wanted to be at every day. That was probably one of the most difficult parts of the whole process, and then just taking on more than I could handle and not communicating. That was definitely a big lesson.
Yeah. So on that note, I think your growth excelled when you realized it wasn't that you weren't trying hard enough, you had to grow up. And I don't mean like mature, I mean just like, damn, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm being required to do more than ever. I need to figure out how to manage that. Dude, I deal with that. I'm dealing with that right now with having a baby and seeing like once upon a time, I had it dialed. But then life's like grade school. You get it dialed, but then you move up a grade, and then you move up a grade. And I guess before I jump into ChatGPT, just to give people your whole timeline, I'd love to talk about the year of your absence.
Oh man.
Because if you would like to dive in on that year, what
Yeah.
happened was we built and built and built and built. And then JD started to waver in the 2021 end of the year. I don't know
Right in the
exactly
beginning.
when.
It was right in the beginning of 2021.
And
Yep.
it turned up. And
Yeah.
it took some time. This wasn't immediate. There were several months of grind. And
Yeah.
you were really telling me that you were trying, but it was you just couldn't keep up with everything going on between your job at
Yep.
Publix and your job at NPI,
Yep.
relationships, friendships. You were being asked a lot,
Mhm.
and you struggled to find it, and you basically kind of quit, and I said that I needed to let you go kind of at the
Yeah.
same time. I remember that call. That call sucked.
It was probably one of the most brutal calls that I'd ever received, and it sucked for both of us. Cause like I knew that it wasn't easy for you, and it sure as hell wasn't easy for me either, and it was tough. It was really tough, and
I called
especially
you knowing that you probably should be let go,
yeah.
/ maybe you needed to quit. Doesn't really
And
matter.
I knew that I deserved it at the time because I was like, yo, I've just taken on so much, and like I had to knock the house down. Well, the house kind of just got knocked down, and I had to start building from the ground up. And I was so mad because I was like, man, this is the job that I want so bad, but I can't prove it to him right now. Like, it's not the right time. And it was just such a big learning curve. And after that, like, I took one opportunity with a company I won't name at the moment. And it wasn't bad, but it was not good. It was a hell of a lot worse than anything I had experienced, I guess.
Well, because what happened at NPI, and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I've had my moments where I've not made the right decision. I've not said things the way I thought I did. But what you experienced elsewhere was way different.
Oh, yeah.
You experienced true, intentional, malicious
Oh, yeah.
wrongdoing, and you were mistreated.
Oh yeah, and that was after months of being gone and like getting that opportunity. That was a different opportunity. That's not where I was going, but I was gonna
Yeah,
get there.
and we won't talk about what they were, but
Yeah,
here's the
no,
important part.
oof.
They were both in content creation.
They were,
So you were doing what you loved.
yeah, or so I thought, and it was a very both of them were very misleading. One was definitely more scam esque, but they were these false promises of what I thought was gonna be my job. It was like, yo, you have full creative freedom. We love your style. We want you to make that, but for us. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh man, I have full creative freedom. I'm creative director. I got this. And then once I went out and filmed everything I filmed and got to these places with these different clients, they were like, no, not like that. Oh, I hate that. Blah blah blah. And it
Do you
just
feel like
wasn't
that
what was promised.
happens? Because I have, I don't want to say who, but we have a mutual friend we know that is in our industry, but still, I hear that people get like that. Yeah, come on, come work for us. You can have creative control, but then you don't get it.
Yep.
I feel like people say that to get people in, but they don't give them that creative
Yeah.
control.
And it was it was brutal for me because I was young and I was so excited, like, oh man, I'm gonna get to do what I love like really soon. And I went through a lot of growing pains and just I got burned a lot. I got burned before I worked for him, which is another story for another time. But like I'd been burned a lot, but not as much as some of the people I know my age doing what I do. So I
Yeah.
did get really lucky to meet Dalton when I did because he was such a mentor. Even in the year that I did work with him, I watched from afar for like the 8 months I didn't work for you, and then coming back, like you've just shaped out all these rough edges, and like I've been a sponge. I know so many kids that have just been so prideful, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna work for anybody. I'm gonna be my own boss. I can't learn from this person." I'm like, "Yo, you guys are so dumb." Like, I'm working for somebody that I've watched build a company from nothing, and I've been able to help grow the company in the past 3 4 years with you, and it's like I grew while you were growing and while you were learning.
100%. And bro, I'm just a human, dog. Like,
Yeah.
you and I are so close, and you get me, and you get my frustrations where I'm just trying, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just doing the best I can as a leader, as a team, member, just everything, man. I'm just a human. So it's really cool to hear you say that, because that is what's happening. I'm growing as a person. You're growing as a person. Our craft is growing, and thus the business and gang that we're all a part of
Yeah.
is growing. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That 8 months that you were gone, I believe in affirmations.
Yeah.
Life will tell you when things are not right. You can feel it. Things happen. And then when things are good, other things happen.
Yeah.
Ashton, freaking
Dude, I love that kid.
dog.
He's so talented.
Shout out to Ashton. He came in like right before you left.
Yep.
Like less than a month before JD leaves, this kid, Ashton Boss, I think through social media, get linked up.
Yeah, a friend of a friend.
His first job was Melbourne Airport. And he came out, shot all this dope footy. And we loved Ashton so much that we said, chink, you're in. Like, you're full time. And unfortunately, fortunately, he was there right when you exited.
Yep.
And so I went to Ashton. I was like, yo, streamlining just all of JD's budget, because how JD and Gavin and a few of the people that have been here at different stages since 2020, they became part of this like salary crew where we said, this is how much money we know we have a month. It might be less than you're accustomed to, but it's going to come to you every month. And we're going to increase it and increase it. So I basically just said, here's JD's freed up money, give it to Ashton. So he cranked for 9 months. And right at the end of him working with us full time, he had uploaded a video. And it just wasn't Ashton quality. And that kid is such a just animal. I just felt like he was distracted. So I sent him a text, and I was like, yo, bro, your last video just wasn't it. And I say that with love, but your stuff should look like you. He was like, I'm so busy, dude. I've got school. He was at Full Sail. I'm working my ass off for you. I've got my parents, and I'm a college kid. Yeah. And he was like, I just think I maybe shouldn't work with you guys right now, because I don't have to for money. I'm in college, and I kind of want to have fun. And I respected that so much. It sucked because I needed that person there, but it was fine. And to this day, dude, the kid's doing crazy shit. He's
so insane.
Doing the LIV golf. He's working with Respective Collective and all these teams. Ashton, we love you, bro. He filmed my wedding too, and Ashton, you killed my wedding. To this day, I still watch it and love that he led my wedding team. But here's the weird part.
So weird.
2 days or less after Ashton lets me know and we decide he should go do his own thing, you text me and say, hey, like, I'm back and I'd like to talk. When I tell you I looked at my phone in disbelief. Because life is about timing, bro.
Dude, and I won't get into it too much, but Gavin was still working for you at the time, and he played this insane middleman for 8 months. Like,
props to Gavin.
Yeah.
For at the time, Gavin's younger than you two.
Yep.
And at the time, he had to choose his job over his best friend.
Yep.
And I give him credit because you left / got sent out the door. Yep. He stayed your friend, but he was like, I'm doing this damn job.
Yep. And for 8 months, I know he was talking to both of us, trying to get us to get back together.
I know. He'd feel me out, and
he'd wait till the right time.
You know how I'd be. Yeah. I wasn't mad, but I was disappointed. And
dude, we are so similar that it's like uncanny, bro. It's so funny. But I know he would talk to both of us and try to like properly time it. And like he hadn't even texted me when I texted you. He thought I was in California living the life, and on accident, I texted him, and I was like, yo, code red, shit's not going the way I want it to. I need a flight home. can you come pick me up? And that was meant to go to a different friend of mine. And Gavin was just like, what? I was like, long story, I'll tell you soon. Don't tell anybody, but I'm coming home. And I texted you in that same day, and I was like, hey, it's been a while. Let's catch up. When are you free?
So that was the bridge from you coming in out of high school, getting it locked down, getting overwhelmed, leaving for about a year, and then now you're back.
Yep.
And that process was where the money started for you. And I don't mean actual money, but just the magic started for you.
Oh, yeah. And I'd started my life over coming back. I dropped everything to move across the country and drained my savings from a job that ultimately never paid me and screwed me over.
Yeah.
So now I'm in debt. I'm 21 and I'm coming back home and I have nothing to lose and only something to gain. So it was like, I had nothing else better to do. So it was like, the second you offered me that job and we fixed everything, I was like, at your house every day.
You came back ready.
Yeah.
You came back refreshed. You were definitely timid, but not timid like you were when I first met you. Mm-hmm. You were just clearly adamant that you wanted to do better and you wanted this to work. And I would say that within 2 weeks, I had, let my guard down, realized that you were in this thing. And then literally, dude, since then, off to the races.
Yeah.
Like not a blip of stopping since then.
Dude, it's been so crazy because like that was 2021 and that was 3 years ago and it feels like it was yesterday.
That actually is pretty wild. 3 years, bro.
Like,
can you believe that?
That blows my mind.
Gosh, I don't even want to open the chat GPT. We're crushing. We're just doing so good. I feel like we should finish this story though, because over the year, maybe 2 years that you were back, things got better and better with you, but they got worse and worse with Gavin.
Yeah. And that was like really tough. And it's even hard to talk about. I want to choose my words like very specifically because
all I really do want to talk about is the condensed version is that ultimately Gavin was let go, and it was funny / left because it was just like you. It was mutual, but it was nowhere near as like light as, and it wasn't light when you left either. But yeah, when Gavin left, dude, it was a heartbreaker. But
For
my question is that lead up to that. How did you maintain what you were doing through all of it? Because, dude, you were in a pretty crappy position. You're his friend. You're my friend. You work here, and you're working harder than ever. Yeah.
Well, it was one of those things where at that time, like I said, like I'm almost a year back with you at that point. I'll never forget that. And I had already been in the position that he was going towards, and like not after realizing what it was like to not work with you and all the other stuff that I'd gone through out there, I was like, I'm not going to screw this up. I already did that once. Like, if I screw it up again, it just shows what kind of person I am. It shows that I didn't grow. So I was motivated more than ever to continuously prove to you that I was in it, and I never wanted you to question that. I wanted you to trust me in all aspects. And being in that position was really difficult because it was similar to where he was when he was in that position, but also very different.
Yeah, I agree.
It was difficult.
It was different, and I don't think the why matters. It just really sucks when you love people and you're a team and things change.
Yeah, and I still wish the best for him, and like I miss him the same way you guys probably missed me when I was gone. It's just
dude. And
there's like that little piece. It's like all the lenses and shit that we lose, and it's like, you think about it, you're just like,
like the 100 mil that you brought up tonight,
bro.
I still miss that.
Shout out to your mom for saying that to me in a text. She's like, "Oh, did we sell this?" And I was like,
"It's like, no, we did. We lost that lens." No, and ebb and flow, such is life, right? And it's all love, man. And this journey, I spoke on this. I just did a podcast with my boy David Moorfield. If you guys haven't seen that podcast with David Moorfield, click the link, go check that out. Lots of amazing conversation about freelancing and filmmaking, but also about friendship and working with friends. And we spoke about Xavier, who was another person that we worked with closely, and there was a lot of growing pains there.
Yeah.
It's so important to just remember life's about timing.
Yeah.
We're not all perfect. We're not all going to see eye to eye every day. And in my opinion, when it comes to business and relationships, we have a really unique brand. And I love the connectivity. I love that you're literally a leader from my company, but literally Uncle JD to my daughter. I think it's cool.
It's pretty cool.
The complexity there is immense. And you and I really have to do a dance to make sure we're playing both roles respectfully.
Yeah.
It's cool. It has so many perks, but it's hard. So I don't get mad at anybody that's been here for work and is or isn't here at any level, just because life is about timing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all there is to it. Some of the best things that have happened to me have been the result of bad things happening first.
Yeah.
Look at today. We're not even going to talk about it. But those phone calls today were sketchy and hectic and stressful. We're at work and I'm dealing with stuff, and it's all for the greater purpose of growth.
Yeah.
Diamonds, I love this. I heard this recently. Everybody says, oh, pressure makes diamonds. But someone said to me, pressure makes diamonds or bursts pipes. And I love that because not everybody grows under pressure. Some people succumb to the pressure.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you bad or weak, but timing. Let's take a peek at ChatGPT. Let's see what this thing has to say. Dalton's perspective on bringing JD into the team and my first impressions.
The first time or second time?
So when I first brought JD on, my first impressions were just that I needed some excitement in my life. And you and Gavin, these young Groms, you guys brought that. So you definitely re-energized me. COVID was weird. I couldn't go do events. I couldn't go do my regular work. So I'm doing like TikTok trendy videos and I'm doing all these different things. And it was really cool to bring these guys in that literally watched me from afar as, like, I don't want to say on a pedestal, but someone doing, film while you guys were in high school. And it was very rewarding. And to this day it is, man. When you're here at ESPN and I'm not, meaning you've been to Glendale, Arizona, where we're at right now, and you've worked for ESPN on my behalf without me present, it has become one of the most rewarding things about my job. Knowing that you guys are obviously doing a good job, check. But the fact that you guys are like thriving and living the effing dream on my behalf, dude, a high I didn't know I wanted. It's incredible. It's a blessing to give you guys these opportunities.
Dude, it's really cool to have them. Like I said, like we were just talking about this a couple hours ago. Like I don't know many kids my age that have a resume as deep as mine now, as far as like variety of clientele.
24?
This year I will be. I'm still 23.
So at 24 years old, you have gone to countless states and done well over 25 fights for ESPN with NPI, hundreds of tourism promotions for Visit Florida, tons of Ron John Surf Shop events, weddings, studio work, specialty stuff, Mystic Power Boats. You've gotten scuba certified. You've been in a bunch of these videos. You've gone to these crazy places. And it's so cool because we also talked about this. The cool stuff we're doing today isn't about me. It's about all the work we've all done. It's paying off in cool ways right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like ESPN.
Dude, it's so crazy, like, being here because we've done so many things. It just feels like the next biggest thing that we've done.
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
Like, when I tell people, like, oh, yeah, I've worked for so-and-so, this, that, and the other, and then I finish, like, oh, yeah, and I do ESPN boxing, like, a couple times out of the month, and they're just like, ESPN? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a fun time. It's probably one of my favorite things I do, and it's just, like, weird the way it just comes off so naturally. It's like, I'm probably I am the youngest kid that I know that is in this package. Like,
oh, yeah.
I don't think there's anyone. I think I'm the youngest person on the team.
So,
and my job was not supposed to exist.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing. I think one day we need to do a whole podcast on ESPN in depth because it's such a cool thing. Share some memorable travel experiences and how they've impacted both your professional outlook and personal friendship. I mean, I've gone to so many cool places with you, man, but I think one that really sinks in would either be like our Puerto Rico trips are really fun
Yep.
because those are personal and we're going in like 2 weeks.
So excited.
So stoked. But I think outside of all the cool ESPN trips, the Mojave Desert for Rocket Star, when we got to film a rocket, bring out Georgia,
That is my top 3.
bring out Derek. We were just driving through the desert, taking cool
Desi boys.
Dude, Desi boys. We're in Tehachapi, middle of nowhere.
Literally middle of nowhere, California.
And there's a private rocket, and we're there to film it. And it was just the coolest experience. And I just remember, we're hitting the skate park, and we're bomb dropping hills in LA, and we're driving around Hollywood, and I don't know,
Bethany
man.
Hamilton in the lineup.
Yo,
True story.
JD almost ran Bethany Hamilton over, but that kind of stuff. I'm a firm believer that, and I said this tonight, what we get paid is great, but how we feel is everything.
Yeah.
So instead of just going to that job in California and coming home, we're like, yo, well, let's make this an adventure. We're going to go surf and rent some boards in San Clemente.
The coolest thing for me that set it off was the beginning of that trip when we were skating down that empty road and the sun was going down.
Listen.
Some of my favorite footage to date.
I just was looking at some of the photos the other day. It's between LA and Vegas.
Yep.
And in the desert. And we stop. I'm like, boys, right here. We've got to pull over. And we've just got this cool sequence of
and
us
we were all on
like,
the same page.
I know.
We
In
knew
unison.
exactly what was going down.
Kick, push down the middle of the highway. We're throwing flip tricks and just, flipping photos. And those are the moments for me when it's kind of like you're standing on the peak. And what's funny is sometimes it's actually what we're doing. Like when we were in Lake Tahoe and we hiked to the top of that tunnel and the sun's bombing and we meet the full-time adventure couple. I'll put their Instagram handle up here. Do you remember what it is? The full-time adventure couple, I think. I'll have to look, but I'll plug it in here.
I think it's our full-time adventure.
It is. It's our full-time adventure. Yeah. We meet this couple, and it was one of those moments where I'm like, what are the odds that I'm like up on a rock across the country and I meet these people and I'm with my boys and we're doing this. And so, yeah, when we're in those places, man, it just makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'd say, oh man, those are both like such good ones. One of my favorite ones that was El Salvador with you. Do you know why?
I forgot about that one, but why?
It was my first ever out of the country trip with you since I'd come back, but in the history of me working with you. And it was like the first, I'm ready to take JD here. He's earned it trips. And it was one of the most rewarding trips to go on for that reason specifically, especially because I was the person you picked in the company at the time to go with you. And the project was so cool.
I totally forgot about that.
Dude, I spent my 22nd birthday there too.
You were not originally going on that trip.
Yep.
And due to circumstances, I said, JD, you're going on this trip.
Yeah.
And to not punish anyone, but to make sure JD understands, I said, look, man, this is your time to shine. You have worked so hard. You have earned your spot here. You're coming with me. We're going on this trip, and it's going to be incredible.
It was insane. We were with 7 Groms in El Salvador for 7 days.
And for anybody that doesn't know what a Grom is, I feel like we're going to get some people.
Oh, yeah.
A Grom is a young surfer. We were there with, I don't know, like you said, 8 to 10 kids that were anywhere from 10 to 16.
Something like that.
And what a funny trip, dude. And talk about enjoying a trip. We've got these frothing kids. They're so crazy and funny and talented.
Oh, yeah.
C.T. Taylor is
legend.
a phenomenal, legendary surfer from the East Coast. And C.T. Taylor, shout out, buddy, brought me to El Salvador for my first time with Nathan Adams from Eastern Surf Magazine. And it was a girls' trip with all the young Groms. And I remember being on that trip and having a crappy tripod and looking at Nathan Adams and being so intimidated. And I asked him, I was like, man, how much is your tripod? Knowing it was expensive. And I think he said like $500-$600. And I had this thought, genuinely, I was like, I should probably quit. Like, I'll never get that. I think I was getting paid like $300 for the whole trip. And I was like, how do you buy a $500 tripod? And it's just so cool that a decade later, I go back with CT again, Nathan Adams again, and you're on the trip. Yeah. That is what did it for me. We stayed with Lizette at, gosh, I can't remember the name.
Alma Azul.
Alma Azul. Yeah, look at you, JD, knowing all your spots. That was cool, man. I'll give it to you. El Salvador was a phenomenal trip.
And like I break my favorite trips with you down in stages from like beginning of my career with you to like where we're at now. Like going to ESPN with you for the first time was also one of the coolest because you were hired as Dalton Smith the person, and this man tells ESPN, he goes, "That sounds super rad. I don't travel without my partner though." And I'm like, dude, the balls that you got to tell ESPN you don't travel without your partner? At that point, I was like, yo, I've made it, bro. Like, I'm here.
and hear me out, and I think people can relate when you've got someone that, I don't know, makes you feel confident, makes you feel like, like everyone wants that, like, backup, right? So we talked a little more in David Moorfield's episode, so again, check out that link, but going to Las Vegas, going to that first fight, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Not realizing how big that fight was either.
Oh, my God. For anybody that knows boxing, it was Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. Not only a big fight,
the biggest of the year.
Controversial fight.
Yeah.
So we did that fight, and the only reason you were there is because I kind of vocalized that you guys don't know how to use the camera, so you're hiring me. I need backup.
Cool.
Bring you out. Next thing you know, they're like, oh, dang, that is kind of a two-person job. Here we are. A year later. And this year, we're looking at closer to 30 fights.
Yep.
2 countries, maybe 3 or 4, depending if something comes together.
Happens, yeah.
And just unbelievable that, you're still the same kid that walked in my house that one day.
Dude, yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
It is really weird. Like I said, like coming back was 3 years ago, and I've known you for 4. But I've known of you for 6. Like it's just like
think about that, though.
Flying.
And it's flying, but look how much you've accomplished in a short amount of time.
And it's so weird to even look back on, because I'm my own worst critic. We all have that in common as creators, But it's like I don't really always stop to look back at what I have done. I'm always looking towards what's next. And I know that's human nature, but It's like, yeah, but I want to get to this next level. I want to keep progressing as a person and in life and in my job. Like, I want to keep getting better. Yeah. So it's really weird to reflect on.
It is a human thing, but it's also a traveler thing. We're always focused on the next thing. And we create a lot, so we're always focused on the next thing we're creating too. So it kind of it keeps you moving quick, almost too quick if you ask me.
Yeah.
And it's really important to slow it down and just kind of absorb it. And that's why I was talking about like standing on the cliff, standing in the desert, like those moments where it just all comes together and you just feel it, and you're like, "Wow, I'm here." Yeah. I like this question. This is cool. How do these travels and experiences shape the vision and projects at NPI Productions? I would say that varies trip to trip.
Yeah.
But I would say trips are a great opportunity to learn a lot in a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. I feel like they expedite the learning curve. So for me, it shapes my vision in the projects in a sense of we want that. Like, travel's a funny thing now that I have a baby because I love to travel, but I don't want to leave my baby. But it is so critical for me and the brand. So I think when I go on those trips, I realized that, like, no offense to, local things, but I want to be elsewhere.
Yeah.
I want to do big things. So that's my thing that I've kind of picked up is when we do these trips and I see what's possible. Because think about it. If it's a trip, someone's paying to send us somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Big deal.
Tyler Rago, 2013, someone gives us like $250. Nate, if you're watching this, bro, I don't know if you are, but this guy literally gave us the money to come up there to film short bus skimboards. And I remember looking at Tyler, dude. There was no profit, by the way. Like, that was gas money. And I was like, dude, we made it, bro. We should call, like, the mayor or something. Someone's sending us somewhere. So when we do that to this day, it gets me so pumped that people are willing to transplant our team elsewhere.
Yeah. It just reminded me of like the "we made it" feel. I'll never forget being with Gavin in the helicopter at Merritt Island. Like my friends had just flown in for a trip that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and he calls. He's like, "Yo, boys, I kind of have this emergency helicopter flight in Merritt Island. Can you guys be there in 20 minutes?" And me and this kid are in Cocoa Beach, and we're like talking to our friends. They're just flying, like, yeah, like the bat signal like just arose in the daylight, and you're just like, yeah, we got to go do some big stuff, like hop into costume and just get on a helicopter, and came back like nothing happened. But in the car ride back before we got back to our friends, we're just like, dude, that was so fucking cool, bro. This freaking helicopter ride, man, that was so sick. Then we get to our friends, and I'm like, yeah, just another day in the office.
Yeah, just no worries. You guys being so young and not being numb to the constant highs that we feel here, you guys getting your first helicopter ride, you know what I mean? It makes me relive it. Yeah. So when I called you guys that day, I remember, I can't remember who the client was. I think it was Avcon or Melbourne Airport.
It was Avcon, I think.
But we had to go out to Melbourne Airport and take pictures of the Ellis Road extension.
Yes.
So they did a extension at I-95 and Ellis Road in Melbourne for the airport, and now the new terminal's there, and we're seeing that project expand. But last minute, I'm like, I got to go now. I call the boys, and it wasn't even that I needed them, but I was like, dude, why not? I've got 2 extra seats. So in the air on the way back, we flew over Gavin's house.
Yeah.
And his parents came out front. And I was actually just talking to someone recently about your mom. And who is it? Trevor's mom. I will see the moms pop up on the likes in the comments. Yep. And not just as a dad, because I'm a new dad,
my
but
mom
just
is 100% subscribed to NPI and Dalton Smith, bro.
She's so committed.
She'd be like, "Did you see what he posted?" I was like, "I was with him when he posted it." Like, yeah, of course I saw it.
They are so proud of you guys, and so again, being a parent, I can't imagine what it feels like to see your kid do cool shit. And it makes me happy to know that I'm a part of the thing that the parents are so proud that their kids are a part of.
It's so cool because as I've gotten older, I've started to feel it more. And I don't know, like, if you felt this with your siblings yet, but, like, for me, it was like, oh, cool, yeah, mom and dad are proud to support me. But it's like when my sister started hyping things up, that was big for me because she was always the cool older sister. So it was like when we came out to ESPN and she was, like, posting up on her story, like, oh, my brother works for ESPN, NPI, and I was like, that was cool. Like, I'd earned my sister's respect, and I was like, oh, man, like, that was something else, too.
I hate to keep bringing the ESPN thing up, but we are here. It is a significant blessing because of the scale of what it is. And I feel that even some of my friends and family don't understand the scale of what we, you, me, and the couple humans we bring are doing with ESPN, revolutionizing and changing broadcast.
Yeah.
As the events go by, we are actively changing this environment. Mm-hmm. I'm still very young in this production world. So it is just so cool to me that I'm a high school dropout. Like, you didn't go to college for this stuff. We just utilized experience, expertise, risk, and just straight up being in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
I always say success is when preparedness meets opportunity. Yeah. So a lot of times, man, it's just me being in that spot, and then here we are. But yeah, man, like, who doesn't know ESPN?
Right.
I've done big shit for a long time. Oh, wow, Dalton, World Surf League, that's cool. Not everybody follows surfing.
Yeah.
Boxing, ESPN, people give me the look, and they're like, dang. And I'm stoked on it. And the coolest thing for me is that we are actually highly respected and appreciated and feel like an integral part of the team here.
Yeah, dude, what you said, like revolutionizing the game, like what we've built here with that camera is so insane to me, and that hasn't even sunk in yet. Like, for you to tell me, like, oh yeah, the director of the show is asking about what we just did with the Zoom because an executive from ESPN wants to know, and I'm like, man, has that sat with you yet? Like, that is so cool. And we're just a couple of freaking surfer skater dudes from Satellite Beach, bro. Like, what?
Yeah, it's sunk, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
So what JD's referencing is after we figured this really cool revolutionary Zoom feature out at our last fight just a couple weeks ago, the director called me, and he never calls me like outside of an event. And he's like, yo, I need to know what the rig is. There are people asking. The executives are impressed. Some of the directors of other packages of other sports are very impressed. And I called you, and I was like, JD, listen to this. We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sat there for a
Yeah.
minute on the phone and was just like, wow.
Yeah, absolute blessing,
In the course of a
we
year.
earned that. And shout out David Moorfield, Justin Mark Walter, George Bustos. You guys have come out and supported this ESPN journey, and I appreciate you. I hope you guys are ready for a freaking crazy summer, June, July, August, 10 fights in 11 weeks, or actually 11 fights in 12 weeks.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's literally going to be insane. So we're going to need a team, and we need the boys. So, yeah, man, let's go ahead and move on to the next section here. Friendship and future. How has your working relationship evolved into a closer friendship over the years? I would say because we weren't already friends, though. Like, when I met you, I was not friends with you. And I talked to David about this. I don't think you can work here and not be a friend.
Yeah.
It's way too close. It's way too fun. We have way too many similarities.
We spend a lot of time together, too, so you can't hang.
We joke about it. But the people that stay at NPI Productions long term, and not even long term, but just on a frequent basis, it really is about how you function within the team as a team member.
Yeah.
Because when shit hits the fan and our flight gets canceled and we're stuck in Shawnee, Oklahoma, or some crazy stuff goes down, you need a good team behind you.
Yeah.
So I would say those moments when we travel and I'm having anxiety, like on the way here, and I think the damn plane is going to crash because we're going into a hurricane, it is so helpful for me to be surrounded by friends. Mm-hmm. And there's levels to this stuff, but every single person on the NPI Productions team, from the top to bottom, is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And that's everybody. And that's a special thing.
And we've definitely been blessed with a lot of good people, especially in recent months that have come in. And it's cool
so
for
many
me
people
to sit here now looking on some of those people like, yo, I was in that position not that long ago. And like, that to me is cool, and they already have that same energy. So I already feel old, man. And I've only been here 4 years, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. This person has the same opportunity I had.
We've doubled the team in the last 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
Which is sick.
That's been something that was just like unheard of 3-4 years ago. Like, it was me, you, and Gavin in the tiny office in the townhome.
Yeah. And even Eleni. Eleni was a big part, and it's cool because ebb and flow, right?
Yeah.
Me and David on his podcast talked about how as our businesses and efforts grew, we went completely different directions. David went with downscaling. I went with upscaling. I hired people. I delegated. I took on more. He was like, ooh, I want to lock in what I'm doing. I want to be specific. I'm not doing any delegating. So it's cool even with Eleni. Like, she was here. She tried the salary program. We did this. She took a different job. She's doing some graphic stuff. She came and shot recently. She was talent recently. That's what I mean by, like, there is no right or wrong here. Like, I'm driving a ship that I built that ghetto, fancy, big, small. I built it.
Gaff tape holding something together somewhere, probably.
If there ain't gaffed up on that ship, it ain't mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, gaff tape is everywhere in my life. I had Madison film me somewhere recently. We were like Costco or Publix, and I was fixing something with gaff tape. And she was like, "This is a production wife's life."
Dude.
We are going to roll into the back end of this podcast here and talk about a few things, including a moment where we learned something significant from each other. I have too many to count, but I will say that you tend to be the yin to my yang.
Likewise.
I'm aggressive. I'm assertive. I can be a little bit overwhelming at times. And you, my wife, a lot of the people that are very calm have helped me tremendously to realize that I'm not trying to say wrong things, but my methods can be adapted. And you, being such a calm person, have helped me with that a lot.
Dude, I've learned so much from you. There are just like too many examples to even like go into. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, you know, you took this disorganized like shape and you just shaped me and taught me just so much about the industry. We've learned a lot from each other and we've learned a lot together at the same time. And I think that's what's cool now is like you'd put all that time into me to get me to where you needed me to be. And now I'm here operating as a second man to you, knowing what you expect, you know, and like I'm proud of myself in that sense, or it's like I finally got to where I finally met an expectation. And like you can trust me to go out and do a job and lead other people now. And that took years of just like grinding and a lot of problems that we had that we worked through. You know, you and I've had so many ups and downs over the years. And we've
Dude, do you remember
so
the dentist office conversation? Like probably about a year ago now?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell happened, but I was pissed and I was freaking out way too hard. And you're like, dude, you got to chill. And we have never even gotten close to arguing like that since.
Yeah.
And it was such a great conversation because I do believe sometimes we boil up, and then we kind of spill over, and hopefully the results aren't permanent. But when people take those moments to vocalize and communicate and figure it out, like
that one was the most important because since then, like I've bestowed on other people that are starting to work with us. I'm like, yo, it's so important that you communicate with Dalton.
Yeah.
Like he is your boss, yes, but don't like be like, oh, big scary boss man. I can't tell him what I'm going through. I can't tell him I'm overwhelmed because I'm like, yo, he's not a scary person. Like, this is not a normal job. But like, yes, be on your shit, but like communicate. And I think that last one that we had was just a big like turning point. Like since then, like we've both worked hard to communicate with each other and be on the same page. And that has helped our relationship so long term, especially with what's going on now.
Yeah, we did a great job because it was a two-part thing, man. Like, yes, I'm leading the ship and I need to be a leader, but there's a way to do it. And yes, you're busy and you have a lot going on, but there's a way to do it. We both did that next thing, right? Because truly, you took your accountability. You wrangled your job and everything you needed to do. It was probably over some base camp shit, dude. Effing base camp.
And I was sick. I get really gnarly sick at the worst times.
Yo, let's not this trip.
Not this trip. I actually fought to come on this trip because another cool thing in the I made it territory is he sent me on my first surf trip to Hawaii like a week ago.
Yeah, I kind of bypassed that in the story earlier on accident.
Dude, like in the history of ever, he has never gone and sent someone else and him not been there on a surf trip.
Ever.
And he sends me to his favorite place on the planet by myself to be with like a family to go shoot surf for 7 days.
Yeah, shout out to the Peters family, Lisa, Eric, Kai, Sebastian. What's Grammy's name?
Luke. Little Luke.
You guys are a beautiful family and some absolute shredders. I appreciate you taking JD into your humble abode on the North Shore of Hawaii. It was, again, a full circle moment. Wow, we're so busy The business has scaled to a point that not only we have opportunities to send you to Hawaii, you're trained to that point.
Yep.
You're capable to that point. I'm letting go of work to enable you to go do it. And if you remember, I was like, oh man, look at the schedule, boys. Look at, oh my God. I was like, and we need to work on Ron John's trips. I was like, I can't go. But we can't not pursue that as a business. That's silly. Of course I'm evolving. Of course I've got a family. And yes, I'll miss some trips and I'll go to some trips. But NPI Productions, the agency, the brand that creates these beautiful, story-driven, very unique films needs to continue.
Yeah.
And so it was super cool to send you out there. And I'm really excited for Pipe Masters 2025.
Dude, I'm already putting money away for it because I want to go back.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
a
wait
beautiful
to experience
place.
Hawaii through a different lens on that trip.
Yeah, you're going to love it, bro. It's, again, very cool to be able to send you to these places, bro, and call it work. You know what I mean?
There's like everyone at home, like, oh yeah, I'm going to Hawaii. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. I'm like, but it's for work. And they're like, shut up. Like, you're going to Hawaii. I'm like, yeah, but I'm working, I got a job. It's just so cool. It finally sent me to Hawaii.
But it is work, and I guess, that could be a quick thing to talk about. And I do want to touch on this. People see things like you going to Hawaii, and they say things like, must be nice.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's got it like that. Oh, yeah, you work for Dalton. That's how it goes. I hate those kinds of sentences, and I'm a big, big enemy of the phrase must be nice, because two very important things. You landed on that beautiful Hawaiian island rock by no mistake. It was years of hustle and dedication.
Yep.
You have fallen asleep on my floor more times than I can count because you have literally grinded to where the fuel ran out. You have put in blood, sweat, and tears. You have worked on birthdays. You have worked on holidays. You've been with me on Christmas Eve. You have done everything. You've supported me through firing people, hiring people, coming and going, the emotional trauma I've gone through, having my freakouts, screaming at people, like everything that I've been through, you were there for. And not all of it's fun.
Yeah.
That's why you went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yes, you were talented and had the ability, but there's other people.
Yeah.
I could send other people, but what we do at NPI is so personal with the how. If you can shoot it, congratulations, dog. You got half the recipe. What about the feeling that people are going to have on that trip? And so the fact that you have that, you can carry that, and the way that Lisa and Eric and the whole vibe kind of talked to me about you being there, I knew that that's what you brought to the table. So that's what people don't see.
Yeah.
They see you land in Hawaii and like, yeah, whatever, JD. Nah, dude, y'all ain't JD. You don't know what it's like to work for me. You don't know what it's like to work 80 hours a week. You don't know what it's like to be paid $500 a month and be promised one day you'll get more. You don't know what it's like to work for 4 years and then get to the point where you're actually sent to Hawaii to go do that stuff. So that was
things like you sacrifice. Like people don't realize what people in our positions have sacrificed. Like right now, like your kid is 7 months old and you're sacrificing those precious moments with her, to be out here working, and I've just seen levels to life. And like, I look at where I started before I even met you and I'm just like, never did I think 15-year-old me would be where I'm at today at 23. Like, I started with a little iPhone in this dream of traveling the world with filming, and now it's happening. And I was 50, that was almost a decade ago. And like you said, people are like, oh, it must be nice, And the other thing people don't realize about travel, though, like we're blessed, we get to travel with each other 9 times out of 10, but it is very lonely. You are away from your family, and the people you work with are your family.
I used to travel alone a lot, and I told you that. And I had way heavier undiagnosed anxiety problems back in the day. And I'm talking like Corey Howell's there when I wouldn't eat. I was so crippled. And that's the back end of this is people don't know what you put in to get there. And then people see you in Hawaii and they think you just got it like that and you're just sitting on your ass. Dog, you're a cat in the sand. A surf trip ain't no walk in the park as a filmer. You know what your day looks like? Getting up before the sun comes up and you are on the beach all day long.
Sunrise, sunset.
And if these kids are young, if they're Groms, you're screwed because
They're serving all day.
they're going to do a marathon session.
Yep.
And so yeah, man,
And then on
people.
top of that, though, like leaving Hawaii and rolling straight into a work week.
Holy crap, dude! JD came home, right? So he's gone, and I was holding down the house and the
Yeah.
business and everything.
We learned that we
And
cannot travel without each other after
no,
that.
because I didn't want to bother him on his trip because I knew he was busy. He was working every day, and it's funny because the year before I went on my honeymoon for 2 weeks in Hawaii, and JD, Eleni, and whoever was here literally had to hold it together, and they were like, "Never do that again." It was so crazy.
So brutal.
So when you were gone, it was just mayhem, dude. I was so busy, and you came home and you got like a day to chill.
Yeah.
And then I had you come to the house, and it wasn't anything crazy, but you came to the house and we worked a little bit. You were jet lagged as hell.
So brutal.
And then the next day we're at Community Credit Union setting up at the King Center. The next day I'm speaking at the King Center. Like, it just doesn't stop.
I made Maddie swear not to tell you, but that first day back, I went to the bathroom in the outhouse. I slept on the floor for a good 10 minutes.
Oh my
I told Maddie
gosh.
not to tell you. I was like, don't tell Dalton. I'd be so mad. But I was
Did
like,
you
I need
sleep
this
like on
nap.
the rubber mat in the gear
On the
room?
rug in the gear room? No, in the bathroom in the gear room. It's like I can't risk him looking for
my
me out here. I was like, I need
gosh.
10 minutes. This is a true story, and I had to wait to share it till right
That
now.
is so funny.
But I was so dead. I was like, don't tell Dalton. But I was like, I need just 10 minutes in here. Like, he'll think I'm going to the bathroom, but no, just 10 minutes. It was
Dude,
so funny.
JD is
Then I
renowned for that.
thrived the rest of the day. Best 10-minute nap.
Oh, you guys got to bear with us. We are so tired. We flew in last night. I went to bed around 2:30 in the morning after working on a podcast. We worked today from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and here we are doing the podcast. So I think it's about time to wrap this thing up, buddy. Let's see if there's anything that we should leave as a final thought. I guess right here. Looking forward, what are your aspirations for your professional paths and your friendship? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. Professional path. I'll start with professional path. My number one priority is obviously working here, and I want to continue to grow NPI with Dalton and watch him achieve the goal that he had set out from day one. And I know it probably looks different now than it did back then, and it keeps evolving. And because I'm sitting here, like I have so much time to evolve in my own personal life. I've always been stoked to watch other people grow and help them get to where they want to be, and in the process kind of find out where I want to be. I used to have an idea of it, but it's changed so much over the years that I'm like, I don't really know where it is yet, but I just know it's going to be awesome. Like, I'm never really stressed, and like my mom gets on me all the time. She's like, oh, you live such a carefree life. And I'm like, yes and no, but like I just know that I'm doing something right, and I'm a part of something bigger than myself, and that's something that I always wanted to be a part of. And then as far as friendship, I mean, I'm probably gonna die with this guy someday. So
Yeah, you might be stuck with me, buddy. I love that, dude. Great answer there. I am piloting this ship that is growing rapidly, and my real goal is to just be the best captain, not drive the furthest, be the best. I want to lead the team in a way that I'm proud of every single day. And I want to continue to put my foot down and determine the healthiest workflow for our team, demand that respect when needed, and just pursue the biggest thing we can be. NPI has always been a fun company, right? Good vibes, young people, lots of energy, motivation, but I am a hustler to the core. I bleed grinding. And so I just want to enable people like you to be a leader within my team. I want to enable people like Che, who is absolutely injecting heroin into the job I gave him. He got a job and then said, I want more.
Yep.
I'm not stoked on that because of what it means to me. I'm stoked on it because I'm giving it to someone, right? So I want to make this the funnest, most profitable, enjoyable, oiled machine ever. And then just see where we end up.
Yeah.
Because we didn't plan ESPN. We didn't plan a lot of these things. And the hurdles we've jumped recently with business, the risks we've taken, the risks, and they're not even risks, but just demanding that we are looked at as who we know we are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening. So I think short form, I want to trust the process and just watch this thing go.
Yeah.
Personal, you're stuck with me, dog.
Dude, literally.
You're stuck with me. You are Uncle JD. It has been very cool to watch you get used to the baby, step into this interesting role where you're my friend, but you work here, but you're like literally her uncle. And it has been very special for me to become a father. Most rewarding, profound experience ever. But the transformation it's had on my friends and our friendships, holy shit, dude. Like I didn't even, it's not that I didn't need it, but I didn't know that could happen. I didn't know that me having a child could enhance my relationships in my life so much. What a blessing.
And the business, dude. Like, let me tell you.
I've been grinding since that baby got here.
There's no room for BS because family and raising that baby.
Chunky cheeks, dog.
And let me tell you, I did not know what to do with babies before he had one. I was like, they're squishy and they just poop and eat and sleep. You know, they don't do anything. I was like, well, I mean, I guess I do the same thing.
Now he's like,
but,
I kind of want one day.
Dude, no, like when she started like getting that personality and recognizing me and like smiling when she see me and like messing with me, I was like, oh man, dude. Like, oh man. So now it's like I didn't even want to hold her, and now I'm just like, yo, give me your child. Let me hold her.
We brought her to Syracuse for a fight and introduced her to our travel family, which was so special. And this is just the beginning, bro.
Yeah, dude.
We got a long way to go from here.
Yes,
I don't know where it's going to be, but it will be up. Absolutely appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed this. To all the people out there that feel like they have something to relate with this, do what JD did. Take the risk. Message people. Get in the right spot, because you never know when you're going to go from leaving high school and looking at NPI to becoming a part of the team and going to Hawaii and traveling the world. It's really inspirational for me to see your journey kind of grow as part of my team. So,
dude, it's been insane just to like be here, and now I'm in this spot where I'm like, I want to bestow it onto other people because I wanted it so bad, and I know there's a kid sitting there chomping at the bit, sitting in high school just like I did, waiting and dreaming of like what this life might look like.
Yep.
But a lot of people don't have the gut to, go through it in its full capacity. They think it's all sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Yep.
So it's like,
but they can't get it. They can get it.
They can if you work hard enough, and like the more people you know, the more places you go.
Dude, look at JD, guys. You guys is the same thing I said about David. Y'all should look at JD. You should be inspired. You should be motivated. You should feel that I can do this, and it should inspire everyone. And you should be proud of yourself, big dog. You've done some incredible things here.
It is pretty cool to be here and be able to say I've done a lot of the things that I've done here, and now say I've helped shape and create some pillars.
Oh yeah, no, dude, you are a part of this thing, and tomorrow we're gonna go run the shark camera and do it once again. Yeah. So appreciate you coming, dude. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Nah, dude, you're family. So you guys know the drill. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you want to see JD more, follow us on NPI Productions. You can go follow him, the real JD HD, and you can see all of his naps, his adventures, his epic content. And we will see you guys soon for more on Trust the Process. Bye, guys.